This weekend I went through a lot of spiritual warfare, and it's led me to feel like I gotta stop a lot of the stuff that I've been doing business wise because it's not of God. Now I'm gonna start this by saying God is real, and He showed me four things this weekend, four major events that led me to make this decision. But if you don't listen, sometimes you have weekends like I just had. And I feel like I have not been listening. I've been keeping my ears closed, my mind closed, but my eyes open. And so I'm only partially accepting to what God has been trying to lead me to do. Now, the first major thing that happened is this Thursday I had a showcase. Now, I haven't had a showcase in a while. So I did a first open mic showcase. It was all right. It was good for a first start. And I didn't have no problem with the event, but after the event, there was some business stuff that went south, like sour, really sour, to the point where it almost went all the way left. And that right there was my first red flag, because I feel like a lot of times with platforms like showcases, when you allow a lot of music to come in, music is very powerful. And what people are talking about sometimes can get crazy. And it could be a platform for real evil sometimes. Where people talk about fucking, they talk about drinking, smoking, killing. They're talking about a lot of crazy stuff. And so those kind of platforms elevate evil. And I know my growth in business and my growth in spirituality has been running parallel, but sometimes two things can't coexist. You gotta pick a side. So that was the first red flag. I ain't gonna get too much into the situation, but that's what happened. The second thing that happened is, like, me and my lady had a whole conversation about what happened that night, because everybody saw my personality shift. And it was a big deal, to where even the owner was like, did I do something to you? She's like, are you mad at me? I'm like, no, I'm not mad at you. I'm just irritated in general. Like, I just want to leave. So me and her having this conversation, and I was expressing like some of the things that I was feeling, to the point where it was making her cry. And this woman don't cry at all. So she was like, I really don't want you to do this. I really don't want you to do this. And I was like, yeah, but I got to. That was my whole mindset on it. Then as me and her having that conversation, one of the homies called. He was actually at the event. He called me, and he just threw the idea of a Christian platform. Now, I ain't gonna get too much into it, because I'm really gonna do that now. But it threw me off. Like, what? Like, that's a really good idea, but it scared me, because I know I don't feel that I'm in my journey enough to pull off a Christian platform. I don't feel like I'm a solid enough Christian to even have that kind of platform. So there was that. That was the second like flag. Like, okay, look, this is a sign. Later on that night, my homeboy called me. He going through something. He having some mental health issues. I was like, yo, tomorrow we can hang out, blah, 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 blah. Then my lady, she called me. She like, look, I want to see you tomorrow. I'm like, all right, tomorrow, after I hang out with the homie, I'm hanging out with you. Boom, right? So the next day happens. And me and her, we go see, me and him, we go to Hooters first. So me and him, we go to Hooters, then we go to the mall. And we just, you know what I'm saying, chopping it up, doing homeboy stuff. But this particular friend is real in his spiritual journey. So he told me everything he's been going through. He told me he hasn't been praying. He hasn't been going on his morning conversations with God and all of this stuff. And I found that to be a little alarming, considering everything you got going on. You should be going to God, not away from him. So maybe that's a problem. So even when we at Hooters, he get his food. He normally pray. He ain't praying. So I prayed for him. And he was like, thank you. I needed that. I'm just praying over the food. I'm not praying for his well-being in general. I'm just praying over the food. That's something that I normally do myself now. So when that happened, he was like, thank you, I needed that. It was like, yo, you can really touch people through God. Like, bring people to God. Like, let them stay in his presence. Don't let them drift. That was another flag. Boom. Then me and her went to go see Sinners. I guess it was 5 flags. Because, yeah, me and her went to go see Sinners. And that movie had spiritual messages all throughout that joint. I ain't gonna get too much into it, but if you've seen that movie, you've seen that movie. That junk was crazy. That Michael B. Jordan characters, that's my personality shift. Straight business, straight bullshit. That's my personality all day. So that was crazy. And me and her had conversations. We parked after that movie, and we had probably like a hour, 2 hour conversation on just the things that we felt from that actual movie. And that was a powerful movie. So if you haven't gone to see that movie, go see that movie. Highly recommend it. If you're a spiritual person, go see that movie. The messages in that is crazy. And the last thing that happened with all of this weekend, because even after Sinners, I was like, yeah, I won't plan any more secular events. I won't plan any more things that are not of God, but I'm gonna just do what I still got on the menu. But the last thing shut everything down. I went to church. Me and her went to church together for the first time. We pray together, we do Bible study together, but me and her, we went to church for the first time together. And when I tell you that shit, that shut everything down. They told the Simon Peter story, talked about being lukewarm, talked about just listening and being obedient, and stop trying to do things your way. Do things the way Jesus would do it. My way is my way. His way is the way. And man, when he said that, it shut everything down. I didn't have one question. As the preacher was talking, it was an awesome preacher too. But as he was talking, it just made me feel like shut everything down. Shut everything down. I know I've been drifting through this rebrand from Sell the Promoter to Manifest the Market to Selvin Presents. I done did this, it's been 2 years, but I feel like I had it figured out. I said it a couple weeks ago of how to go about doing things. Everything that I said was absolutely correct. The thing that I was missing is that I was not doing it for God. And so now, moving forward, that's all I'm doing. If it's not of God, I ain't doing it. And I don't feel no way about it. I know this was long. I hope this was able to reach somebody for real. But you need to find your way back to God. You need to find your way back to Jesus. You need to do things for God, for Jesus. Now, I'll be doing little segments moving forward, but I just had to get this out. I had to get this off my chest. I know this is long. It's 7 minutes, but I appreciate anybody who listened and made it through the whole thing.